All India Radio presents Morning News. Good morning. I'm Sunil Verma and with me is Subhadra Ramachandran. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to inaugurate Smriti Van at Bhuj in Kutch region of Gujarat today. Prime Minister to share his thoughts in Mann Ki Baat program at 11 this morning. Supertech's 40-story twin towers in Noida set to be demolished today for violation of construction norms. India accuses Chinese ambassador to Sri Lanka of violating basic diplomatic etiquette. UN General Assembly President Abdullah Shahid to arrive in India today on a two-day visit. Ministry of Youth Affairs and Sports invites applications for Sports Awards 2022 from sportspersons, coaches, entities and universities. Indian judoka Linthoi Shanambam creates history, wins gold medal at World Cadet Judo Championships in Sarajevo. And in cricket, defending champions India to take on Pakistan in their opening encounter in Asia Cup this evening. Afghanistan beat Sri Lanka by 8 wickets in opening match of the tournament. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will inaugurate Smriti Van at Bhuj in Kutch region of Gujarat today. Smriti Van celebrates the spirit of resilience shown by the people of Gujarat following the 2001 earthquake. Smriti Van is a museum built as a tribute to those who lost their lives in the earthquake on the 26th of January 2001. We have a report.
Spread across 47 acres, Smriti Van Memorial Project is built atop Bhuchio Hill in Bhuj to the tribute to the victims of Gujarat earthquake of 2001. More than 12,000 people, especially from Bhuj, had lost their lives in the devastating earthquake in 2001. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will also virtually dedicate another earthquake-related memorial, Veer Balak Smarak. The memorial is set up in Anjar town in the memory of 185 children and 20 teachers who were buried alive in the debris during the earthquake. Prime Minister Narendra Modi would also address a gathering at Kutch University in Bhuj. He will launch a host of projects worth rupees 5,000 crores on this occasion, which include a new plant of Sarhad Dairy, 4-laning of Bhuj-Pimpsar Highway and Narmada Branch Canal, among others. V. Jagdish Patadia from Bhuj, Aparna Khun, AIR News, Ahmedabad.
The Prime Minister arrived in Ahmedabad yesterday on a two-day visit to Gujarat. Mr. Modi yesterday attended the Khadi Utsav event in Ahmedabad. As part of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, Khadi Utsav is being organized to pay tribute to Khadi and its importance during the freedom struggle. The Prime Minister also tried his hand on the charkha. The Utsav is being organized at Sabarmati Riverfront, Ahmedabad. Around 7,500 women Khadi artisans from various districts of Gujarat participated at the event. Addressing the gathering at Khadi Utsav at Sabarmati Riverfront, the Prime Minister has said that Khadi could be the inspiration to achieve the dream of a developed and self-reliant India.
चरखे पर सूत काटने वाले आपके हाथ भविष्य के भारत का ताना बाना बुन रहे हैं। साथियों, इतिहास साक्षी है कि खादी का एक धागा आजादी के आंदोलन की ताकत बन गया। उसने गुलामी की जंजीरों को तोड़ दिया। खादी का वही धागा विकसित भारत के प्रण को पूरा करने का, आत्मनिर्भर भारत के सपने को पूरा करने का प्रेरणा स्रोत भी बन सकता है।
Mr. Modi encouraged citizens to gift products made in Khadi village industries to their friends and relatives in the upcoming festive period. The Prime Minister said people can have clothes made of different types of fabrics. But if you give place to Khadi in that, then the Vocal for Local campaign will gain momentum, he added. The Prime Minister also highlighted the importance of Khadi in the empowerment of rural women. He appealed to citizens to adopt sustainable and eco-friendly lifestyle by wearing Khadi. Mr. Modi said Khadi was made the symbol of the country's self-respect by Mahatma Gandhi during the freedom movement. He said, however, the same Khadi was seen as inferior after the country's independence.
जिस खादी ने हमें स्वदेशी का एहसास कराया, आजादी के बाद उसी खादी को अपमानित नजरों से देखा गया। आजादी के आंदोलन के समय जिस खादी को गांधी जी ने देश का स्वाभिमान बनाया, उसी खादी को आजादी के बाद हीन भावना से भर दिया गया। इस वजह से खादी और खादी से जुड़ा ग्रामोद्योग पूरी तरह तबाह हो गया।
Mr. Modi said that since 2014, the production of khadi has increased fourfold. He said as many as 1.75 crore new jobs have been created in the cottage industry in the last 8 years.
आज भारत में खादी का रिकॉर्ड उत्पादन हो रहा है, रिकॉर्ड बिक्री हो रही है। पिछले 8 वर्षों में खादी की बिक्री में 4 गुना से अधिक की वृद्धि हुई है। पहली बार भारत के खादी और ग्रामोद्योग का टर्नओवर 1 लाख करोड़ रुपए से ऊपर चला गया है।
Mr. Modi also inaugurated the pedestrian-only Atal Bridge on Sabarmati River in Ahmedabad city.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi will share his thoughts with the people of the country and abroad in the Mann Ki Baat program on All India Radio at 11 a.m. today. It will be the 92nd episode of the monthly radio program. The program will be broadcast on the entire network of All India Radio and Doordarshan, AIR News website and News on Air mobile app. It will also be live streamed on the YouTube channels of the AIR News, DD News, PMO and the Information and Broadcasting Ministry. AIR will broadcast the program in regional languages immediately after the Hindi broadcast. New and Renewable Energy Minister Bhagwan Kuba has urged states to identify their renewable energy potential and set themselves a target to contribute to the country's ambitious 500 gigawatt non-fossil fuel energy generation capacity by 2030. Inaugurating the 8th Foundation Day celebrations of the Association of Renewable Energy Agencies of States in Kochi, the minister observed that states have an important role to play in achieving this target. He said the country achieved the 175 gigawatt renewable energy generations set by Prime Minister Narendra Modi in 2015, well ahead of the 2022 target due to the collective effort by the states. Mr. Kuba announced that the government will roll out the policy on green hydrogen soon. He also gave away the awards for the best performing states and companies associated with the renewable energy sector.
The Minister of State for External Affairs, Dr. Rajkumar Ranjan Singh, is visiting Jakarta in Indonesia today on an official visit to ASEAN Secretariat. This will be his first visit to ASEAN Secretariat and Indonesia. During the 2-day visit, in addition to engagements with ASEAN Secretariat, Mr. Singh will also have engagements to strengthen bilateral relations and interaction with Indian diaspora. India has slammed the Chinese ambassador to Sri Lanka for making some adverse comments against New Delhi over the docking of China's spy ship at Hambantota port. India had objected to the docking of the Chinese spy ship Wanwang-5 at the Sri Lankan port, citing security concerns. However, Colombo allowed it with certain conditions. Indian High Commission in Colombo issued a hard-hitting statement yesterday saying the Chinese ambassador's violation of basic diplomatic etiquette may be a personal trait or reflecting a larger national attitude. The statement said Chinese ambassador's view of Sri Lanka's northern neighbour may be coloured by how his own country behaves, but India is very different. Indian High Commission said opaqueness and debt-driven agendas are now a major challenge, especially for smaller nations. Recent developments are a caution. Sri Lanka needs support, not unwanted pressure or unnecessary controversies to serve another country's agenda, Indian High Commission added.
UN General Assembly President Abdullah Shahid will arrive in India today on a 2-day visit. He is scheduled to meet the Vice President Jagdeep Dhankar and Foreign Secretary Vinay Quatra and discuss the ongoing issues of the General Assembly and India's engagement with the United Nations. Shahid will be coming to India from Tajikistan. Gautam Budh Nagar district authorities are fully geared for the demolition of the Supertech's 40-story twin towers at the Emerald Court project in Sector 93A of Noida today. Roads in and around the twin towers are closed from 7 a.m. today. The Noida and Greater Noida expressways will also be closed at 2:15 p.m. and reopen once the dust settles. The Noida authorities said 1 nautical mile of airspace around the Supertech Twin Tower demolition site will also remain briefly unavailable for flights today. Roads leading to the Twin Towers in Noida will remain diverted today, while around 600 police officials, including traffic personnel, will be deployed for law and order duty. Earlier, Noida police banned the use of drones in the city skies from the 26th of August to 31st of August, citing security reasons in view of the demolition of the towers. No humans, animals or vehicles will be allowed in the exclusion zone today. The nearly 100-meter tall Apex and Cyan towers are scheduled to be demolished at 2:30 p.m. today in pursuance of a Supreme Court order that found their construction in violation of norms. The Supreme Court on Friday assured the home buyers of the to-be-raised 40-story Twin Towers that they would be refunded the full amount deposited with the builder.
In Morning Matters, now let's listen to a discussion on election freebies, issues and challenges. The participants are B.L. Srinivasan, legal expert, and Arjun J. Chaudhary, journalist.
Mr. Srinivasan, what is the importance of this particular issue before the Supreme Court right now, which was in fact televised for the very first time to make the hearings as transparent as possible on the issue of freebies?
I think it's absolutely critical because if you look at the state of public finances, particularly of the state governments, the challenge becomes very, very apparent here. Every state government and to a large extent the central government itself, because if you look at the deficit, every government is living beyond its means, which means that it is spending much more money than it is raising by way of revenue. That's not normally a problem because governments being sovereign have the ability to raise debt at very low risk and therefore low cost, and running a deficit is well tested actually achieving your developmental goals, because if you had to simply cut your cloth to what you had in hand, you might not be able to meet your developmental ambitions. So therefore spending a little bit beyond your means to get to where you want to go is fine. The problem comes when you're spending without having a clear goal in mind, or the goal is not necessarily one which is a productive and economically productive goal. So that's where the whole issue of freebies comes in, because freebies by themselves are not morally a problem. In a society which has a lot of inequality, some form of distributive justice, which includes actually providing something to some segments of society which cannot otherwise access a basic service or a requirement. It could be housing, it could be water, it could be food, it is education, in some cases healthcare. That's perfectly fine, and I think that should be the goal of a just and equitable society. The problem comes when some of the outcomes are not in that sense easily justifiable, and I think the court has sort of observed that this should be kept in mind, and in my view it is a very, very critical observation that without financial responsibility and accountability, we do need to have some kind of control for this.
Mr. Srinivasan, so clearly the issue is on the nature of the freebie or the subsidy which is granted by the government for the benefit of the public. What is that nature? Because you have the provision in the Constitution under the directive principles of state policy. India is a welfare state. The states within the Union of India have a responsibility of ensuring the welfare of their citizens. However, the Supreme Court did observe that even if it's for the public good, there has to be a clear categorization of the state being able to meet that promise, make the economy viable and not be on the verge of imminent bankruptcy. You mentioned that. Then how does one understand the nature of the freebie if the standard is a fiscal responsibility that cannot be dispensed with under the guise of electoral promise?
Yes. Why is fiscal responsibility important? Because you're actually passing the burden onto the future generations. You are spending money which you don't have today, and you're borrowing to spend that, but the responsibility for repaying does not rest on your shoulders, it is on the future generations, and therefore it's a societal problem. When governments start doing this, it becomes a societal problem because the burden is passed on to the larger community and it's a non-sustainable solution. Therefore, I think it is very, very important that this element of fiscal responsibility, the goals by themselves can be very good and valid. So if you want to say, I want to eradicate hunger, I want to ensure that that nobody in this country, no citizen goes hungry. It's a perfectly valid goal, but how much resources can you devote to it? You can only devote the resources that you have.
Mr. Srinivasan, you mentioned about how the future generation would be affected if subsidy go out of control. There is no fiscal responsibility. You have the FRBM Act for the center. Is there one for the state? And a subsidy payout which is not viable or tenable under the present dispensation also affects the present generation because taxation does go up.
Absolutely. So everybody pays the price, but who gets the benefit? I mean, and also many of these subsidies or freebies, the delivery is very spotty and uneven. You make these promises, you don't deliver on it or not entirely on it. The process is not transparent. There is no audit. There is no accountability. And there is also led to other undesirable developments. There's a huge amount of diversion. We've been spending a significant portion of our budget for development and public welfare right from the time that we became an independent country, and now we are celebrating 75 years of independent existence. But have we managed to actually achieve the outcomes of all that money which has been spent so far, allegedly in the name of the poor or in the name of development? No. And you and I know the reasons for that. Therefore, I think this is a question of public accountability.
Thank you so much, Mr. B.L. Srinivasan, for speaking on this difficult issue of freebies.
Thank you very much.
You were listening to a discussion on election freebies, issues and challenges.
You are listening to the morning news in All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to inaugurate Smriti Van at Bhuj in Kutch region of Gujarat today. Prime Minister to share his thoughts in Mann Ki Baat program at 11 in the morning. Supertech's 40-story twin towers in Noida is set to be demolished today for violation of construction norms. India accuses Chinese ambassador to Sri Lanka for violating basic diplomatic etiquette. UN General Assembly President Abdullah Shahid to arrive in India today on a 2-day visit. Ministry of Youth Affairs and Sports invites applications for Sports Awards 2022 from sportspersons, coaches, entities and universities. Indian judoka Lintho Shanambam creates history, wins gold medal at World Cadet Judo Championships in Sarajevo. And in cricket, defending champions India to take on Pakistan in their opening encounter in Asia Cup this evening. Afghanistan beat Sri Lanka by 8 wickets in the opening match of the tournament. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts.
अगर आप कॉम्पिटिशन्स की तैयारी कर रहे हैं तो आप सबों के लिए ऑल इंडिया रेडियो की प्रेजेंटेशन है अभ्यास, एक ऐसा प्रोग्राम जहां हमें 9289094044 पर व्हाट्सएप करते हैं आप अपने ऑडियो सवाल या फिर ईमेल करते हैं abhyas.airnews@gmail.com पर और इसका जवाब एक्सपर्ट देते हैं रात 9:30 बजे शनिवार को। ज्योग्राफी यानी कि भूगोल है इस बार का विषय और सवाल भेजने की अंतिम तारीख है 31 अगस्त। आपका अभ्यास हमारा प्रयास।
अपने बिजनेस को बढ़ाने के लिए लीजिए आकाशवाणी का सहयोग और दीजिए उसे बुलंदियों के पंख।
आपका बिजनेस लोकल है या राष्ट्रीय, आकाशवाणी देती है उपभोक्ताओं तक पहुंचने का हर विकल्प।
और अब तो आप घर, दफ्तर या दुकान पर बैठे बैठे कर सकते हैं आकाशवाणी के किसी भी केंद्र के लिए विज्ञापनों की बुकिंग।
आकाशवाणी के विभिन्न चैनलों पर विज्ञापन देना सुलभ और सस्ता।
बुकिंग है तो संपर्क करें 8700014242 पर
8700014242।
Union Home Minister Amit Shah will preside over the first convocation of National Forensic Science University NFSU in Gandhinagar as a chief guest today. The event will also be attended by Defence Minister of Uganda Vincent Sempidja along with State Law Minister Rajendra Trivedi and Education Minister Jitubhai Waghani. The Home Minister will also lay the foundation stone for the new campus of NFSU in Gandhinagar today. The Minister will also inaugurate Training and Skill Development Centre, International Guest House at NFSU. More than 1,000 students will be conferred master's degrees, while 65 students will be awarded with gold medal on the occasion. The 5th episode of the program Ek Kadam Aur Buzurgon Ke Liye with AIR News will go on air today. The topic is Buzurg aur Pension. Chief Controller, Accounts and Pension Department, Government of India, will be responding to the queries of senior citizens. It will be broadcast on 100.1 FM Gold at 9:30 p.m. today. The weekly interactive program on Sunday, Ek Kadam Aur Buzurgon Ke Liye, is aimed at reaching out to senior citizens and address their queries. Every week, a topic is chosen. Senior citizens can ask questions through WhatsApp or email, and a guest speaker responds to their queries. So join us at All India Radio News for Ek Kadam Aur Buzurgon Ke Liye every Sunday at 9:30 p.m. on 100.1 FM Gold.
Over the past 75 years since independence, India's largest public service broadcaster, All India Radio, has been the proverbial storyteller for the 1.3 billion citizens across the country. All India Radio celebrating 75 years of freedom with the series Azad Bharat Ki Baat, Akashwani Ke Saath. It showcases the journey of India since independence in various walks of life through the storytelling of All India Radio.
आजाद भारत की बात आकाशवाणी के साथ, reliving the journey of India since independence over the last 75 years with All India Radio. From 15th August, the series is being broadcast on All India Radio, 100.1 FM Gold channel, primetime news bulletins and across all its platforms. Tune in to stay updated with All India Radio.
In today's episode, we bring you the story of the Balakot airstrike of 2019.
Balakot airstrike is the first aerial shoot-down carried out after the Indo-Pak War by India in Pakistan in retaliation of the Pulwama attack by Pakistan-based terrorists. The Pulwama attack occurred on 14 February 2019 when a convoy of vehicles of Central Reserve Police Force CRPF on the Jammu-Srinagar National Highway was attacked by a vehicle-borne suicide bomber at Letpura in the Pulwama district of Jammu and Kashmir. The attack killed 40 CRPF Jawans. The responsibility for the attack was claimed by the Pakistan-based terrorist group Jaish-e-Mohammed or JEM. Prime Minister Narendra Modi condemned the attack and expressed solidarity with the victims and their families.
मैं आतंकी संगठनों को और उनके सरपरस्तों को कहना चाहता हूं कि वे बहुत बड़ी गलती कर चुके हैं। बहुत बड़ी कीमत उनको चुकानी पड़ेगी। मैं देश को भरोसा देता हूं कि हमले के पीछे जो ताकतें हैं, इस हमले के पीछे जो भी गुनहगार हैं, उन्हें उनके किए की सजा अवश्य मिलेगी.
In response to the attack on February 26th, the Indian Air Force struck a JEM terrorist camp at Balakot, located in the Khyber Pakhtunkhwa province of Pakistan. At least 12 Mirage 2000 fighter jets of the IAF carried out non-military preemptive air strikes across line of control in Pakistan's Balakot and destroyed a massive Jaish-e-Mohammed terrorist camp in which a large number of terrorists were also eliminated. Addressing a joint press briefing after the strike, Air Vice Marshal R.G.K. Kapoor said that its airstrikes on JEM's training camp in Pakistan's Balakot was successful and managed to destroy the intended targets.
There is fairly credible evidence with us which proves that there was damage to the camps. The weapons hit the intended target and they caused the damage that was intended.
Major General Surinder Singh Mahal from the Army said, "Our fight is with terrorism. Till Pakistan supports it, we are ready to target all its terrorist camps and training areas."
हमारा लड़ाई जो है टेररिज्म के साथ है, तो जब तक पाकिस्तान इसको इस तरह से सपोर्ट करता रहेगा, हम उनके जितने भी टेररिस्ट कैंप्स और जितने भी उसके ट्रेनिंग एरियाज हैं, उनको हम टारगेट करने के लिए तैयार हैं.
Navy Rear Admiral D.S. Gujral said, "Forces are ready for any misadventure by Pakistan and are ready for resolute action. We want to ensure safety and security of our citizens."
The Indian Navy is deployed in a high state of readiness and remains poised in all three dimensions, on surface, undersea and in air, to deter, prevent and defeat any misadventure by Pakistan in the maritime domain. I can assure you of a resolute, swift and strong response by the Navy when needed.
आजाद भारत की बात आकाशवाणी के साथ can be accessed on @AIR News Alerts on Twitter, News on Air official YouTube channel, News on Air app, Facebook and Instagram handles. So, tune in to All India Radio News for Azad Bharat Ki Baat, Akashwani ke saath. The Ministry of Youth Affairs and Sports has invited applications for Sports Awards 2022 from eligible sportspersons, coaches, entities and universities. This year onwards, applications will only be on online mode through a dedicated portal. The applicants eligible in accordance with the award guidelines are permitted to self-apply without the recommendation of the authorities or persons. The applications must be submitted at the portal dbtys-sports.gov.in till the 20th of September.
Indian judoka Linthoy Shanambam has made history as she won the gold medal at the World Cadet Judo Championships 2022 in the women's 57 kg category in Sarajevo, Bosnia and Herzegovina. The teenager from Manipur is the first Indian to win gold in the World Judo Championships in any category. The 16-year-old Linthoy Shanambam beat Brazilian Bianca Reis, the Pan American Junior Champion, in the final by Vaza Ari.
In cricket, defending champions India will take on Pakistan in their opening encounter in Asia Cup 2022 this evening. The high-voltage match will be played at the Dubai International Stadium. It will start at 7:30 p.m. Indian time. All India Radio will broadcast ball-by-ball commentary on the match in Hindi and English. Last night, Afghanistan made a flying start in the tournament, outplaying 5-time champions Sri Lanka by 8 wickets in the opening match. Chasing a target of 106, Afghanistan reached the target in 10.1 overs with a loss of 2 wickets.
And now let us take a look at the weather forecast for today. The national capital Delhi will have a generally cloudy sky. The minimum temperature was 26 and the maximum will be 35 degrees Celsius. Mumbai will have a generally cloudy sky with light rain or drizzle. Minimum temperature 26, maximum will be 32. Chennai will have thunderstorm with rain. The minimum temperature was 24 degrees Celsius and the maximum will be 34 degrees. Kolkata will have a generally cloudy sky with 1 or 2 spells of rain or thunder showers. The minimum temperature was 28 degrees Celsius and the maximum will be 32 degrees. Srinagar and Jammu will have thunderstorm with rain. Leh will have a mainly clear sky while Gilgit and Muzaffarabad will have a generally cloudy sky with the possibility of rain or thunderstorm or dust storm. Hyderabad will have rain and a generally cloudy sky with moderate rain. The minimum temperature will be 23 degrees Celsius. The minimum temperature was 23 degrees Celsius and the maximum will be 31. Bengaluru will have a generally cloudy sky with light rain. Minimum 21, maximum 29. Visakhapatnam will have a generally cloudy sky with 1 or 2 spells of rain or thunder showers. Guwahati, Itanagar, Imphal, Shillong, Aizawl and Kohima will have a generally cloudy sky with 1 or 2 spells of rain or thunder showers. And Gangtok will have a generally cloudy sky with moderate rain.
And now an overview of today's newspapers. News of Justice U.U. Lalit taking oath as the 49th Chief Justice of India appears on the front pages of almost all dailies. Lifetime perks for former CJIs, SC judges, headlines The Hindu. Amended rules say they will get chauffeurs and domestic help post-retirement, elaborates the paper. Sharp exchange between Delhi, Beijing over ship in Sri Lanka, reports the Sunday Express. China envoy calls it aggression. India says violation of diplomatic etiquette, writes the paper. COVID lull over, students throng coaching capital Kota in Rajasthan, writes the Hindu. And finally, a photograph of the beautifully illuminated Atal Bridge on Sabarmati River, inaugurated yesterday by the Prime Minister, appears on the front page of Hindustan Times.
And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to inaugurate Smriti Van at Bhuj in Kutch region of Gujarat today. Prime Minister to share his thoughts in Mann Ki Baat program at 11 this morning. Supertech's 40-story tin towers in Noida set to be demolished today for violation of construction norms. India accuses Chinese ambassador to Sri Lanka of violating basic diplomatic etiquette. UN General Assembly President Abdullah Shahid to arrive in India today on a 2-day visit. Ministry of Youth Affairs and Sports invites applications for Sports Awards 2022 from sportsperson, coaches, entities and universities. Indian judoka Linthoy Shanambam creates history, wins gold medal at World Cadet Judo Championships in Sarajevo. And in cricket, defending champions India to take on Pakistan in their opening encounter in Asia Cup this evening. Afghanistan beat Sri Lanka by 8 wickets in opening match of the tournament. And with that, we end the morning news. Have a nice day.